Hello and welcome. This is Mark and Pete Live. I'm Pete the clergyman. With me is Mark the businessman. And we're going to be talking to you about a matter of interest. And Mark, what is it this time? What are we talking about? It's 2022 after all.
Well, indeed, and Happy New Year to you and, of
Yeah.
course, our listener. Yes, folks.
Yes.
Well,
Very
here we
good.
are. Our listeners are now all dialed in, thinking about the reflections of what worked, what didn't work. But it's about New Year's resolutions, re-evaluating. But unfortunately, of course, when we do this with the view that everything will be improving our well-being, some things just simply die hard. It's time to rejoice in a New Year's resolution, which is to be carried out with fine execution, like reducing waste in a green revolution and cutting emissions and global pollution. Maybe removing people from dire destitution, where the rich consider mass wealth distribution. Scotland could ignore the idea of devolution, as well as keep the UK's established constitution. More return on investments from the banking institution, and the general public to pay less tax contribution. Perhaps British manufacturing could see a revolution, and never again will there be any more political retribution. But all things considered, there's just no substitution to adopt old habits as the best solution. I say,
Yes. That's the way
I
it ought to
say,
go.
carry on as usual. What do you say, Clergyman Pete?
Well, what I think is that New Year's resolutions are all very well, but they bring with them the possibility of failure early in the year. It's a bit like this. Say you
Yes.
start your day out each day with the idea, I'm going to do 100 press ups and go for a run and learn a whole chapter of the Bible, and you end up not doing any of those things, getting up late and
No.
stumbling down and just
At
about
the same
shoving
time.
some cereal in your face before you're setting out, you end up with failure every day. You don't set
Hmm.
your aims too high. I think stumbling back into old habits probably probably is what does happen. Yeah,
Well,
you're right.
I must admit that from a business point of view, and I'll take it from that, is that actually this is a great idea, New Year's resolution, isn't it? Why? Because think of all those health gadgets that people buy during this period, or the dieting that people go on, and maybe those intentions, as you say, to say, well, look, I'll tell you what, we'll go on a holiday this time. This time of year boosts a lot of businesses, and let's be honest, a lot of businesses do need some boosting at this moment in time. So I can see the positive side, as you say, if it's actually set in a way that is good for you and
Yeah,
manageable and
yeah,
realistic. But I will say, though, is that most people under the current circumstances are probably thinking, I'll just stay at home and save all my money.
yeah.
Thank you
Yes.
very much.
Of course, the Bible does emphasize the idea of a fresh start. There's the
Correct.
idea within Jewish and then in Christian theology of having a jubilee, a time when you have everything fresh start, everything's a reset. Uh, but certainly regularly, and once a year is a good idea to have a fresh start. Psalm 51, verse 10, ask God to bring this about in you. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. That verse talking about making a fresh start and asking God to help you. So I think it's within the Christian worldview to think in those terms. But there are reasons why our New Year's resolutions just don't work. Reasons why they don't work. Well, they range from I forgot that I made them to it was too difficult to something came up and there's all sorts of different excuses. But excuses, of course, make liars out of us. If we
Yes.
don't have if we don't have a plan, then we're not going to actually fulfill our New Year's resolutions. That old saying, isn't there? Don't, if you don't have a plan, so if you fail to plan, then really you're planning to fail.
Yes.
The majority of people, I, I think it's pretty certain, give up on their resolutions pretty soon. There's one statistic saying within 1 to 6 weeks of starting, by the end of February, it's all gone out the window. So there must be a way of thinking through a resolution that will work, or just don't
Well,
do it. Don't do it if you don't
I
have
have a suggestion.
Go ahead.
So it's always good to start the year with something positive.
Yes.
Now, I know that many people sort of think about this at the beginning of the year, but here's an idea. Why don't we have a monthly resolution, meaning that we
Even
can
better.
reflect on what worked, what didn't work, rather than sort of set the most astronomical targets for ourselves, as you've already highlighted, that people tend to typically give them up after a month to 6 weeks, which of course is really setting up to fail. Why not do it so incrementally you reevaluate every month? Now, the point here is that it's not necessary to keep changing your goals, bearing in mind that there are other influences. It could be the economy changes, it maybe your personal circumstances change. So you have to sort of still keep to the same goal, but you adjust it. Now, there's a thought. Now, it means that actually it helps to keep people on track. So
Yes. Yeah.
how about that? That essentially
Yeah.
we
That's
have a
that's brilliant.
monthly resolution.
Let's take that on board, and then let's make it even sooner. So your new month's resolution is to do something by the end of the month. Say it's to be tidy, it's to get things tidied up. Don't get up tomorrow with the idea of tidying the whole house. Decide, well, tomorrow I'm going to put all the contents of my drawers in order, or I'm going to put the books in subject order. Do one thing and do it well on the first day. And you
Exactly.
set a task for each day, whatever it is, whatever your resolution is. Have some tasks that are achievable so that you can get a victory every day. Then
Yes.
you're a winner, and everyone
Well,
likes to be a winner.
and here's one to end with, maybe that maybe for all the people listening to this wonderful podcast, and that is that each month just listen to one extra episode of Mark and Pete.
Yes, you heard it here first. Don't forget to like, subscribe, put a comment about what your resolutions are and how to achieve them, maybe, because I think we we need some good ideas as well. But that's it from Mark and Pete for this time. Catch you next time, everyone. Bye for now.